Let's get the camera set up. Oops. What is it? That is weird that it wants me to set the camera up this way. That is weird that it wants me to set the camera up this way. That is weird that it wants me to set the camera up this way. That is weird that it wants me to set. 1 second, guys. I'm just going to get off it. Oh wow, let's see. I really don't want it this way. This is weird. Let's see how we can. Does it work this way? Rotate device. Nope. It really wants me to have the camera this way. Bear with me, bear with me. Why is it doing it like this? That's so weird. I guess this is how the live has to go. All right, just give me a second. Let me put this baby on the tripod. Hopefully it's not too shaky. If so, I apologize. I also want to add a little bit more wood to the fire. So sorry if it's shaky. So sorry. Okay, yes, this is the right side up. Okie dokie. Now give me 1 second to do this. I'm gonna get better at going live, I promise. Oh, this is only my second one. All right, how's that? Am I able to zoom in? Oh wow, you can zoom in. Okay, look at me learning. So sorry, y'all. Let's zoom it out a little bit. Okay, how's that view? How's this view for you guys? Do you need me to go closer or pull it back some? Let me know. Okie dokie, so said the view is good, so I'm just gonna go add a little bit more wood to the fire because it is a little nipply out here. Let's bring this up a bit. I have these gloves. I don't think you can really see it, but these fire gloves, they're so nice. Can you hear me okay? I know it is some outside noise, but I just want to make sure you all can hear me okay. No, Jada's actually, ew, did y'all see that wood just roll? Oh, no, that was my hand. It's a little delayed. No, Jada, she's inside. Because all she wants to do is play with the ball. Like, she'll literally, just run up to you, and she just wants to play with the ball. And I've been playing with the ball all day today. I'm just like balled out at this point. So she is inside. All right, that does look really nice. Let's see. I'm going to pull it out just a bit. Let's see. Did it just a bit or did it lot a bit zoom out? Oh my goodness. There we go. Let's see. There is a slight delay on the laptop that I'm looking at versus my actual camera, my cell phone that I'm using. All right, I'm gonna try one more time to zoom out just a little bit because this baby is getting pretty big. There we go. I think that looks nice. And you're probably saying, well, you can just pull the camera back some. And that's also a true statement. There we go. Okay. I'm not going to touch it anymore. All right. I don't want to get people motion sick. And it feels so nice out here. So if you have any questions for me, you can put them in the little box. I don't even know, like the little comment box. You can put them over there. But other than that, goodness, it's been a crazy past few weeks. I know somebody on one of my most recent videos, she, was talking about the big delay that in my videos, and unfortunately, I'm trying to push them out, as fast as I can, but trying to keep a pretty decent schedule to keep up with the YouTube algorithm. But back in December, on our way leaving up from Florida, we were driving on the expressway, and then Andrew was hit. He was driving the Volvo at the time, and I was in the bus, and he got in a car accident. Like, the lady tried to cut him off getting off the expressway, and so the Volvo, was pretty messed up in the front. So we've literally been here in Virginia. We had to get the Volvo fixed, and then once the Volvo was fixed, we tried to get back on the road to head out. And then all of a sudden, Domino, her like speedometer went crazy, and then she just kind of like started to act crazy on the road. So we decided to head right back to my sister's house here in Virginia, and we've had to have some work done on Domino, and right now we're just waiting for her internal computer to get installed. Like, we still sleep in Dom and everything, and she's drivable, but you really can't tell how fast you're going on the expressway or how fast you're driving because the speedometer is messed up because of that internal computer. So we recently got one of those new computers, and we just are waiting until next week, for it to get installed, and then we'll be right back on the road. But it's been crazy because COVID hit me, about 15, 16 days ago. And I was like, laid up in bed that entire time. So life really happened hardcore for us this past month, which put a halt to our travels. But we do plan on being back on the road soon. It's just a matter of when Domino can get taken care of that last little piece. Let's see. Will I roast any marshmallows? I didn't plan on it, but we do have some. That's easy enough to do, really. And I am currently in Virginia still. Today was such a nice day. It was a high of 70 degrees today, but tonight it is supposed to drop, I think, to like the high 30s, because tomorrow, crazy enough, is gonna snow for a few. So today was like the perfect day. Oh, 80 degrees in Arizona? Must be nice. Thank you, Kim. It feels good to be, well again. My temperature got up to 103 degrees, and that was pretty scary. I went online and, I watch a lot of survival. Hey, Robin. I watch a lot of survival shows, and out in the wilderness, like when people get sick, they find natural springs and stuff, and normally they're at a nice cool temperature. So I basically kind of submerged myself in a cool bath, not cold bath, but it was a cool bath, and that literally dropped my temperature down about 4 degrees. So that was nice. But yeah, that 103 degrees fever from COVID was like, it was awful, it was scary. But I do have a nurse practitioner in my family, my auntie. She's a nurse practitioner, so she was nothing but a phone call and text message away, and she was able to, provide aid from a distance. So hashtag blessed when it comes to that. So it's weird. I thought we would be able to avoid snow. Like we've lived in Reno for, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years, and we've had snow like every year. And I was trying to avoid it, but life happens. So we've been here in Virginia, and we've gotten a little bit of snow. Not a lot. It would stick for a few days and then, pretty much melt. So go Van go. You like the snow? I know some people, they enjoy it for like the first few days, but after a while they're over it and want the snow to completely go away. Andrew's doing well. He's in the bus with Buddha. Buddha has been having his share of I guess medical issues, but nothing too crazy, some ear infections here and there. But he's getting better. when does it start warming up? The Kim in South California. When does it start warming up? Because like in Tahoe, is like maybe an hour and a half or an hour really from Reno, and Tahoe would keep so much snow, like the scary amount of snow in Tahoe. Yes, I am currently in Virginia, still waiting on a part to be installed in Domino, and then we'll be back on the road. I'm just moving it back a little bit. I can feel the camera getting a little warm from the heat. Apologies, hopefully doesn't make you sick. I'm just gonna add a little bit of wood, move some wood around. So once we leave here, currently in Virginia, but once we leave here, we do plan on making our way back to the West Coast, but we want to take it slow, you know, as slow as possible, but we do want to make our way to Reno to just check on some of our stuff that's in storage. I have a P.O. box out in Reno that is just, you know, collecting so much stuff, and I would like to check the P.O. box. It would have been nice to have, you know, access to mail and stuff, but my P.O. box is in Reno, so we just want to make our way out there to say hey to our neighbors, our old neighbors too. Let's see, because we're missing the pretty action. Move the camera a bit. Let's see. I'm just over here playing with the fire. There we go. That's really pretty. Okie dokie, let's see. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna go back up and start answering some questions. So, what part for Domino? What's the problem? So we actually, before I caught COVID, we were actually about to head out of Virginia, and her speedometer started to go crazy. I was driving on the expressway, and it shot from me going about 55 to 100. The speed didn't go to 100, but the speedometer started to go crazy. And so I pulled off the expressway and went to a gas station, and then let's see what else happened. So yeah, the speedometer went crazy, and we really couldn't tell how fast we were going. So we just decided to turn around and head back to my sister's house. Andrew kind of did some research, and he switched out 2 of the sensors that's inside of Dom, but it was determined that, I don't know like the technical term for it, but it's basically the bus's computer inside of it kind of like went to crap. So we ordered another computer for it, and it was programmed but we have to have it installed. So that'll be next week. We'll be getting that piece installed into Dom, and hopefully that, you know, fixes all the problems there and we can get back on the road. So when it comes to like the repairs and stuff for Dom, I will say we've been really lucky as far as getting tows and finding mechanics that can actually work on her because of her size. Now, the first time I got Dom towed, I really didn't know like what I needed to tell, you know, like the tow truck people. But Domino is a dually, so she has two, you know, tires. Well, she has 4 tires in the back. She sits up about 11 to 12 feet off the ground, and she's like 7.5 feet wide. So when I call for tows, you know, I let them know like, hey, it's a short bus. However, she's 19 feet long, 11 feet high, 7.5 feet wide, and she's a dually. So some states don't allow Dom to sit on the back, like actually, what is it called? Like a flatbed. Some states don't allow Dom to sit on the flatbeds because she's too tall. They have height restrictions. And, you know, some states prefer her to be pulled behind. So we've been pretty lucky. The most we've spent on a tow has been under $300, like about $275. That's the most expensive tow. And as far as the repair costs, we've been, you know, really lucky. In Reno, we had a designated place, minus that Walmart experience with the oil change. But I had a designated place that I would take Dom to, LT Automotive, and the prices were really good. I felt like they were regular, you know, prices for car repairs. But when it comes to, like, I would say a school bus, if this was something that you know, want, versus a regular van, I don't know if you guys been, you know, following from, you know, from day one, but I purchased Dom during my summer time when I came back from school, and I literally had 3 months to purchase a vehicle and, you know, make it livable. And so I did not do like a ton of research. I purchased Dom from an online auction, which I do not recommend, like, ever purchasing, you know, a vehicle from an online auction without being able to, you know, drive it, test drive it, and, you know, do your own like inspection on it. And Domino is a 1998. She's an older vehicle, so a lot of her issues were from normal wear and tear. So it's been a lot of switching out older parts for newer parts. And, you know, I got lucky because Andrew, he's pretty savvy when it comes to that stuff. So we purchased a lot of parts online, and then he went to AutoZone and would rent the equipment needed, and he was able to replace a lot of these parts without us going to, you know, an actual mechanic. So I don't know, like, if if I could do it all over again, I purchased Dom for $3,600. If I could do it all over again, I would have actually purchased, you know, a 2003 or 2005 for, you know, $6,000-$7,000, because I would have been better off you know, getting a newer vehicle and also not purchasing one, you know, from an online auction. But you live and you learn, and all I can do is, you know, help people for the future. Like, do not do what I did. Do not do it. So when it comes to letting out fires at night, a lot of the time we have a lot of dirt or sand, that, is near. So we would take the shovel and just put the sand on top. Or depending on how much gray water we have, we'll just, use our gray water, which is, the water that we use to wash our dishes and stuff like that. That leftover water, we would put the fire out that way. But it's more or less sand or using the gray water to let out the fire. And sometimes we don't have, we don't make really big fires and it just goes out. And that's, when we just like, okay, I guess it's time for bed. We run out of wood and just let the fire, die out by itself while we're outside. So for me, honestly, I don't have a limit when it comes to how much the repairs are. Thinking about us living in Reno, rent was almost like $1,800 a month for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. So that's $1,800 a month for rent, and you still have cable, internet, you have all your streaming services, you have the electricity bill, water bill, and you have to pay for garbage. So literally it was about $2,500, $2,600 a month that we were spending on a rental property. So Domino hasn't, I've never had like a repair bill that expensive. The one bill that was really expensive was when we got the new motor, and that was like almost $10,000, but Walmart took care of that because it was their error. So I tried to look at things that way. Like we have to get this new computer piece added, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be like $200 or $300. But if you look at that, that's like electricity bill, that's internet, cable, and stuff like that. So I try to look at things as half full versus half empty. Like, oh, we would have been spending more in an apartment. So. And Domino's is our home. So when it comes down to repairs, like, you have to get them done. So, you just keep that money stashed away for emergencies. Okie dokie. People are talking about PCM. Yep, Andrew. So Andrew is in the chat. Oh, actually, let me go up before I talk about the PCM piece. Sorry about that. So when I did the conversion on Domino, we picked up the floors. It was some really old like plywood, really nasty plywood. So we lifted that up, and then thank goodness she just had sheet metal. It wasn't like, how some people you'll see on those conversions, they have so much rust and everything under the plywood that they have to buff it out, use Rust-Oleum, do this whole dance when it comes to the floors. And I've seen people, they had to weld the floor, get, do welding and stuff to improve their floors. But I did not have to do any of that. We just created a subfloor. Like we used 2x2s and what was it? Installation boards first, and kind of like mapped it out, and then we put the subfloor on top, which I believe we used maybe like 3/4 of an inch plywood as the floors, and then I used the click floor. So it's like you can buy flooring from Home Depot, and you just kind of like put it down and you hit the edges and they kind of like connect that way. That's how we did the floors in Dom. So yes, it's crazy. Like Reno, I never thought Reno was going to be that expensive. $1,800 a month in rent is absolutely ridiculous. Especially my grandma. She's like her mortgage. She had a house built in Florida, and that's not, her mortgage is not even that, and that is her home on her property. So, like it's crazy. I got into domino because I was going to school full time in San Francisco and spending so much money, $1,400, and that was to rent a room in a house with four other people. $1,400 to rent a room. That's the reason why I got into domino, because I'm like, this is just crazy. $1,400, and I don't even like want to cook in the kitchen. I don't use the living room. Like, I just stay in my room and go to school. And, I was like, it has to be a better way. So that's, how van life, living in Dom, kind of took over. Because literally it's absolutely crazy. So did I have to convince Andrew to join Bus Life? If so, please help. So I was doing, this solo, and that's because Andrew was working full time. And then COVID happened, and so he started to go full time remote. And really, I don't really feel like I had to tie his hand behind his back and be like, no, you're gonna do this. It was more or less like we had the opportunity to. So it's like, why not? Like, hey, work sucks, as far as like his work, kind of like sucked. And this was an opportunity for him to just be able to just breathe and, enjoy the outdoors. But I feel like the way my life is set up is completely different from, other people. Like I'm a veteran. I'm 100% disabled from, military standards. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but Jada's out here, and she's out here with Ori, which is my sister's dog, and they're just, fighting in the background. So I might have them go inside because I don't know exactly how loud it is for you guys. But I have, permanent, back to the conversation, but I have permanent income. So I know, people have to work, to be able to, do this lifestyle. So, I really can't, give, crazy advice like that, because our situation is completely different from, the normal 9 to 5 type workers and stuff like that for the family dynamics. And yes, 10,000 is, crazy for a new engine, but the thing is, the $10,000 was basically all of the work included. So it was the engine, and it has a 3-year nationwide warranty on it. So if anything was to go wrong, the engine would be, taken care of, and I wouldn't have to worry about that. So it was about 10,000 for everything all together: the engine, the repairs, and also some stuff went wrong. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I had to put the babies in. So not only was the engine ruined when the whole incident happened with Walmart, but other parts, got ruined in the process. So a lot of additional repairs had to take place. So it was really 10,000 total for all of the repairs, the engine with the 3-year nationwide warranty, and the service costs. But that I'm just so thankful that we did not have to come out of pocket for that, because we would have been stationary. Like had to put Domino on a piece of land and just like have her just chill, because that was just a lot. I wish we were in Atlanta too so we can get those repairs done. But again, like, we have been, pretty blessed to be able to find mechanics, that have been near, that'll be able to work on Dom, and get the repairs taken care of. Oh goodness, those horses, like, I'll never forget that experience when, outside of Reno, it's this area, it's still BLM land, Bureau of Land Management, which is, land for us to camp for free and everything. And there's still wild horses in Nevada. And like, I knew that the land basically states that, there you could run across wild horses. So I knew that they could possibly be in the area, but I did not know that they were going to greet me and, come up to Dom, like the way that they did. And you could tell that they've had interactions with humans before. Maybe people have fed them, but, per the law, it states that you're not supposed to feed them. So I wasn't trying to feed them. I was scared, I was excited, nervous, like all of the emotions like went through my body. And that was just a beautiful experience. I'll take wild horses over wild bears, any day. And Reno is a little Vegas, but it's really like, after living in Vegas, I was stationed at Nellis Air Force Base, which is in Vegas. And Vegas, let's say Vegas is 100%. Reno is like 25%. Like, yes, you do have the casinos and everything, but you do not have the Vegas feel. You don't have the nightlife. You don't have the tourists there. The types of food. You had any and every type, of food that you can just imagine was there in Vegas. And so I don't think there's another city within the United States that can like compare to what Vegas had to offer. Now, this is prior to COVID. Post-COVID Vegas is a completely different experience to pre-COVID Vegas. So, yeah, but it is expensive. And I think Reno has gotten so expensive because of Amazon. Amazon moved to Reno like a few years ago. Well, one of their warehouses and headquarters and stuff, I believe, moved to Reno. Yeah, it's been almost like two years, like a year and a half. And so that really just made all the prices go up. Like, rent just kept going up, like, every year. And storage units were going up like crazy. And it's just weird how, that business came and just like messed up the housing market for everybody. And also a lot of people from California, once people were able to go remote, started to move to Reno. And so that also, messed up the housing market there. But Reno is really expensive for no reason. It's not like it's beautiful. Reno is very beautiful with the mountains and everything, but it ain't all that. I'll tell you that much. Thank you, Kimberly. One day, Robin, hopefully you'll be able to get on the road and experience this. I mean, it's just, it kind of sucks, this rat race and this loop that, we tend to get stuck in. It's like you're working to pay off a house or to live in an apartment just to store items, really, and you're out of your apartment or your home for at least 10 hours a day. You come home and maybe enjoy your peace for 2 hours before you have to go to sleep, just to get in the cycle and just relive the same day all over again. Like, it's disgusting. And it sucks because, like, geez, like why do you have to pay for water? water should be free, you know? God said, let there be light. So why do we have electricity bills? I'm just saying, you know, it's a joke, but I'm just saying, like, we as humans, we made life so difficult, you know, with just everything. It's like, oh, you know, a lot of people, if they could, they would go back to the basics and just buy a plot of land and, you know, have a little tiny home and their garden on the out, you know, have a garden, have a few chickens and, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, it's just so hard to get out of the cycle. You know, you have to say, like, I can just, you know, talk about that forever. And it just, it's sad because I know a lot of people would do so well, like their mental health and them being able to grow, you know, to their full potential, but they're stuck in the loop that, you know, I have to pay rent and I have to work at this crappy job, unfortunately, and, you know, all that stuff. So it's so sad, and I just wish everybody could just live how they want to. But, you know, that's not the reality for most, unfortunately. I know a lot of people also, I'm responding to Mia. I know a lot of people use like the vinyl flooring. What is an Advanced City Vanlife? Chrome. Gosh, I was watching him. He was one of the people who inspired me actually to do full-time van life. And he had like a really simple build in the beginning, and he had like vinyl flooring, like just the sheet. It was like one just long piece of, you know, floor, really. And, you know, he recently switched that out because the pieces started to lift up on the edges and stuff like that. But I've seen it. I've seen a lot of people, you know, do that method, and it works out great for them. So there's no, you know, right or wrong way to do your floors. It's so many different ways that you could, you know, do everything when it comes to the build. You just got to figure out what works for you, what you feel comfortable with, also the price, you know, make sure you're not overspending and staying within your budget. But research is the most important thing when it comes to, you know, doing your build, making sure you do all the research so you only really have to do it once versus 2 and 3 times. And that is so true. 9 to 5 jobs really aren't 9 to 5 because you have to stay, you know, working longer. People have on-call phones that still come with them at home. You're getting called after hours, you know, for no reason. And you get pulled into meetings and it's like, okay, this could have been an email. Like, it's so weird. It's like, you know, people just love to waste other people's time, but they don't pay you for that time. And it's just sad. It is so sad. Oh yes, the bear. I'll never forget that. Like, that bear taught me so much in life. That whole experience taught me so much. Like, good grief, that was so scary. But hey, you live and you learn. You should see Vegas now. Downtown is beautiful. Well, that's nice. Like, I loved Fremont Street. So I know when we used to have family and friends come to visit, like, yes, we would go to, you know, Las Vegas Boulevard because that's the norm. But if you want like the best time, you go down to Fremont Street, which is downtown, and really the freaks come out at night, and you just have the most fun people watching. You have the people who you know how you have like the different people in costumes on Las Vegas Boulevard. Well, you have the I would say rated R and PG-17 costumes on Fremont Street, and you have live music and all that stuff, and you still have food and everything, but it's more or less the experience. And more locals tend to hang out in downtown Las Vegas than actual Las Vegas Boulevard. Yes, people watching, man. That goodness. And you can get the cheapest drinks too. Like you could get like margaritas for $1. So imagine, you know, you have your 2 or 3 margaritas for $1, and then you can just sit outside and just watch all the, you know, you have the locals, but then you do have the tourists that come out there, and then they're acting complete fools because they just realized that they don't have to spend $20 on a drink. And so they're double fisting drinks, and they're getting crazy drunk, dancing and, you know, cutting up, acting a fool. And it is just beautiful. You can go down to Fremont Street with like $15 to $20 and enjoy yourself because of, you know, your surroundings. Like we used to have so much fun. That is awesome that you were able to Kiki. I, I believe it's probably Kiki, Kike. um, like yeah, it. When I tell you, when you kind of really know what you have an idea really of what you want to do, you can, you know, build out your home in a decent amount of time. But the most time you spend really is coming up with your design and, you know, like solidifying your plans, because I had so many different ways that I wanted to do things, and then it's like, well, I can actually do it this way and that way, and you know, you kept second guessing yourself, changing your mind. um, so the first build actually took me a lot longer than Domino's remodel. Like I had way more confidence. I, you know, drew out exactly how I wanted the kitchen to look, and then I got inspired and, you know, built up the side panels and, you know, all this stuff, and it really just came to me. I had no prior experience when it came to building anything. And you know, you watch YouTube videos and you're like, hey, if they can do it, I can do it. And you know, it just worked once I stopped second guessing myself and came up with the plan and like stuck to it. um, so that's awesome. I still have not been to New Orleans, and I want to go to New Orleans. I'm looking forward to going to New Orleans, and really, I don't like want the Mardi Gras experience. I want the food experience. I just want to have beignets, like, you know, Princess and the Frog, like Princess Tiana. You know, I just want to go to the restaurant, have me some coffee, beignets, and like just all the food. I'm a hardcore foodie, and I just want the food. um like, let's see, the last year, yeah, it was last year, on the cross country trip, coming back with me and Jada, like I stopped in Louisiana. It was in New Orleans, but I was in Louisiana, and I ended up staying the night at a Cracker Barrel. um but I had Uber Eats deliver me food to the Crackle Barrel because I was in the parking lot, and I was able to, you know, get some gumbo and etouffee. I was able to try that out, and it was so good. So I'm like, oh, I just really want to go to New Orleans and just experience the food, and, you know, just do that. I don't really need to see people. I ain't trying to get no beats or anything like that. But I do, want to eat. Yep, Fremont is the old strip, and it's the best in my opinion. I really do think it's the best versus Las Vegas Boulevard. Honestly, Las Vegas Boulevard, the strip, it stinks. It really does stink. Like Fremont doesn't really smell like Las Vegas Boulevard. Like in the daytime, it is hot. It's a pig farm in North Las Vegas, so it blows in, sometimes that smell. So the main strip can be so funky. But Fremont Street, the old strip, is so much better. Oh, no worries. Yeah, hey, like, hey, you can help out. I'm talking to Bat GS. That's awesome. You like, I honestly wish that I was closer. I would most definitely go there, especially to deal with some of this wiring. Domino, I got it from an online auction, so some of her wiring has been a little questionable. I was able to get some wiring taken care of when I was in San Francisco. I went out to Oakland, and these guys, like, they just noticed. So when I got Domino, let's see, the gas gauge was broken. So I always would have to like reset, the thing and just count my miles and be like, okay, every, 200 miles, I need to pull over and get some gas. But when I took her for repairs to get a new, I believe it was I don't think it was a O2 cent. It was something. I can't remember what it was. But when I took her there to the shop, the people, they fixed the wiring, free of charge, and was like, hey, we saw this wasn't right. And so they fixed it, and now my gas gauge works again. But it, like, again, I would not recommend doing an online auction for any type of vehicle or anything like that, because you are left with so many surprises, some good and some bad. Hey, Latasha. I have been like these past few days, I've been a lot better. I just recently got over COVID, and that was like rough. And then prior to that, Andrew got into a car accident with the Volvo, and we had to get those repairs. And right now we're waiting on a part to get installed in Domino before we can hit the road. So like this past almost 2 months, have been a roller coaster of unfortunate events. But I'm still a girl that sees the world with the glass half full, and I feel that, any situation can always be worse. Andrew could have got into the car accident, and it could have, been a lot worse than what it was. And Domino needing the repairs, luckily, I was at my sister's house when Domino decided to, go crazy. And so we have a place to stay when Domino is actually in the shop. So I look at things like everything, happens for a reason. I got COVID, unfortunately. However, my sister had a spare room that I can go quarantine in and not get the rest of the house sick. So, I really can't complain, because again, things could be so much worse than, what they are. So I'm blessed. I'm doing well. I'm blessed. So yeah, geez, she's a Chevy. Is a Chevy a GM vehicle? I'm not sure. But yeah, the wiring, Like, I don't know, these people who owned her prior, I'm like, what were you guys doing? I got her from Casper, Wyoming, and she had these really nice snow tires and everything. But it's like we found so many zip ties. I'm like, what were these people doing? Was they drag racing in Domino or something? Like, but like, hey, she's my home now. She's baby girl, so we just gotta, keep her functioning. Yep, you do not know the history of these vehicles when you purchase them from online auctions versus, actually going to, a place that retires out buses. Facebook Marketplace have a lot of buses. You can go on Craigslist, and don't be afraid to like search outside of your area. I know people who've actually jumped on a plane, to go and get a bus, 5, 6, 12 hours away. So sometimes your dream home could be on the other side of the United States, much cheaper and in better condition. Because, yeah, you want to stay away from those buses that tend to be in cities where it snows, because you have to deal with possible rust and salt damage and all of that stuff. So, yeah, you want to, if you can, get you a vehicle that has some type of history, some type of maintenance history. So we're in Suffolk at the moment, Suffolk, Virginia. I don't know where like, I'm just here visiting, so I'm not really familiar with the surrounding areas. But yes, we've been going through it. But I'm responding to Latasha, like, yeah, we've been going through it, but we've literally made it to the other side. So you know, I'm just ready for the next adventure. I'm ready for Dom to get this little piece installed, and then, the open road is just ready. I'm so ready to to just be again, be outside and listen to the birds, wake me up, and just be able to look up at the stars at nighttime. Like, I haven't seen any shooting stars, because of the light pollution here. But that's one thing that I just can't wait for, to just be outside with a campfire and out in the middle of nowhere looking up at the stars and just counting shooting stars. Well, that's awesome, Kiki. Like, when I did the initial conversion for Dom, I went to Habitat for Humanity and purchased cabinets, and that's just basically, we used a whole bunch of L brackets to put those cabinets in Dom, and it worked. Like, it really did work. You could tell that the spacing was just a little bit off, because it wasn't built for Dom. It was literally built for, I don't know if those were bathroom cabinets or kitchen cabinets, but it worked. If you don't have that type of building skills and stuff like that, you always can go to Habitat for Humanity and find something there that'll work for you. I'm gonna put these fire gloves back on and play with the fire a little bit to try and set it up a little bit nicer. I'm not gonna add any more wood. It's plenty wood. I just need to reorganize it a bit. Hey, Lady Love. Oh, that's a pretty name. Hey, Lady Love. So yes, like I've updated a few things in Dom since being back. Um, changed out underneath the bed. It looks so much different. Got some cabinets and built those out. Andrew built those out from IKEA so we can better, with storage and stuff underneath the bed. But we did have to make some changes just because the space was initially, created just for me, one person. And, we have Buddha, he's blind. So, we have to keep a kennel now inside of Dom, so that really, takes up space. But once we get Dom good to go, I would love to show y'all, do another updated tour. And honestly, I kind of hate tour videos because it's better when you have a whole production team. Like when I've been filmed twice now for, a tour, and you can get those nice camera angles while you're talking and all that stuff, but it takes a lot to do a tour video because you don't know how much information to put out there. You don't know if you're giving out too much information or not enough. So I think it would probably be best if I go live and just kind of do a full walkthrough, and then you guys ask questions and I can like show you in real time, what the answer is. What do you think about that? So I have a Chevy Express 3500. That's what I'm gonna wipe off the lens a bit because I think it may be getting a little foggy, so I apologize. Just give me 2 seconds. So I have a Chevy Express 3500 in the front. It's a lot of smoke, so let's go ahead and try and get a different angle on the fire. And yes, the fire is real. It's not a mural. I'm something like a firebender. Hey, Lord Zamazu. I know I said that crazy. I'm sorry. I hope I said it nice enough. Uh-oh, let's see. It cut out some of this log is in the way. It's taking away the prettiness. Let me see if I can move it out the way. I have these really nice fire gloves that I wish we would have had a long time ago, because you can actually move the logs and stuff. You don't sit there and let your hand marinate, but you have, about 7 to 15 seconds to kind of move things around as needed before you start feeling it. So let me move this out the way a bit. I don't want to see. Oh, I'm in Suffolk, Bat. So I love living in Dom. Right now I'm at my sister's house waiting for this piece to be installed in Dom so we can get on the road. But no, I prefer, honestly, life on the road, life in Domino, because you can just come and go as you please. You don't have neighbors, unless you want. And it's just like your home is on wheels. So you like the spot, you can stay. If you don't love it, you can leave. Unlike, living in a stationary, building. I feel like I'm always, outdoors, even though live inside of a bus because I'm mostly outside. um, but yeah, no, I prefer living in the bus over everything else. So to answer your question, Andrew, I think it would be best, honestly, if we purchase like a GoPro. I do have an action camera, but it's not a GoPro, so I would have to like try it out to see this action camera, see how the quality is, and if that works, then we can do it. Put it on him and let him walk around because Buddha is a character. Obviously, he doesn't know it, but he's just very funny without trying. Because he'll stand at the wall, he'll just like freeze up and just kind of like just stand in place, and he's looking at a wall. And yeah, that have some funny music going in the background. The way he lives life is completely different from how Jada lives life. They are the total opposites of each other, and that would be really funny. Hey, Christy from Texas. My sister wants to go to Houston, not necessarily for her birthday. Her birthday is the 12th of April, and COVID happened when she turned 30, so she hasn't been able to really, have a, birthday celebration. So she wants to go to Houston in April for her birthday, and we'll probably meet her there in Dom and just go on a foodie experience. So I've been like looking on TikTok, and we found some really nice restaurants to go visit while we're in Houston. So that would be so nice. If you have the stuff to make s'mores, you can make them literally, over. I know a lot of people have gas stoves, and people who roast marshmallows over the gas stoves. And me being completely honest, I prefer the marshmallow and just graham cracker. Like, I don't need the chocolate. You make that marshmallow really nice and, like bronze, and you put those graham crackers, and it's amazing. I can go without the chocolate. Well, I'm sorry that you don't feel the heat. Like that's kind of scary. I've had foot surgery. I've had let's see, three. I've had 3 foot surgeries, but 2 on one foot. So I do. Some sensation goes away. It comes and goes every now and again on my right foot. And, sometimes I don't realize that Ori, my sister's dog, is like, kind of like biting or like licking at my foot. Sometimes I can't tell. I don't feel it. But like, that's, you have to watch out because you could really burn yourself. Even though you can't feel the heat, your skin will still react to the heat whether or not you feel it or not. So be careful. You can get you some heat gloves from Amazon. I got these. I don't know. They say RIFNY, and I believe they were like $18 or something like that, and you can play in the fire for like 7 to 15 seconds. And that's enough to move, wood around. So I recommend getting some heat gloves. Ohio. Let's talk about Ohio. Ohio was a really cool experience. It kind of sucked that we had to stay at national parks. Not necessarily national parks, but official campgrounds. It was more or less like state parks, not national parks. We had to stay at the state parks because the areas weren't, I don't know, like I went online and I used the iOverlander app and this app called Seeker, and people leave reviews about different free campsites that they visited, and the areas just said, people were racist. And so, me being black, I'm like, I'd rather not. I don't want no problems with people. Like, so let's just go ahead and go to these state parks. And we really enjoyed ourselves. While we were there, it was beautiful. We did have a little bit of rain and stuff, and it was a little bit cold, but we have our heaters, and we kind of got what we could from the experience. I thought it was really pretty. We went through during the fall time, so we could see the leaves change, all the different color leaves, and it was crunchy leaves, and it was pretty. I really enjoyed myself. Yeah, we went down to, I think it was Norfolk for this taco fest that they were having here, and you could see all of the ships and everything. It was really nice. My sister, she's prior Navy, her husband's Navy, um, so that's why they're here, really. And it was really pretty, just being by so much water. Like, I loved California. I loved living in San Francisco while I was there. I was literally right by Ocean Beach, and I would just leave my window open, and the fog would come in, the wind would come in, and you would smell the ocean. Like, it was so nice. I just love being surrounded by water. So normally when we look for campsites, I try to find spots that have some type of natural water source. It just makes it better. If you're hot, you always have access to water, to kind of cool yourself down. It's good for the dogs, and most of the time when water's near, the temperature is slightly cooler. And oh my goodness, no, I would never do Texas in August. Like, I'm prior military, so Shepherd Air Force Base, which is in like San Antonio, Texas, not Shepherd, but goodness, Shepherd is in Wichita Falls, and Lackland Air Force Base. Good gosh, it's been so long. Lackland Air Force Base is in San Antonio, and that's where my basic training was. And I went through basic training in March 2006, and it was still so freaking hot. Like, it was so hot. And then had to go to Shepherd Air Force Base, which is in Wichita Falls, Texas, and I was there from, I think, late March, April. No, it was April time frame, April to like August. And it was just so nasty. Tech school and basic training really made me hate Texas, because it didn't matter. Like, you could go 2 steps out of the building and you're already sweating, like just a nasty type of sweat. And you had to walk everywhere. You couldn't drive while I was in tech school. So literally, I'm walking in uniform across base to go to the BX or to go to the commissary to get some food and stuff. And it was just way too hot. It was not comfortable. So yeah, like April would be the ideal time to visit Texas. Nice to meet you. I want to say, is it Shy, like SHI? Shy? Nice to meet you. Thank you for tuning in. So it was some like birds and stuff. Oh my goodness. There's crows out here, hummingbirds, doves, eagles, weird little geese. There's deer that roam the backyard. It's everything out here. Well, yeah, it's wonderful that you treat people well, but we've had, experiences. I've been to Wyoming, and certain parts of Wyoming just did not seem, you know, as friendly. Shoot, South Carolina, not as friendly. You're greeted going into Georgia with Confederate flags on the left-hand side. You leave out of Florida, you got Confederate flags on the right-hand side. You go into restaurants, Confederate flags on the ceiling. I remember, I think I was actually in Virginia. I can't remember what part, but this is when I was active duty. I used to do honor guard, and that was basically doing funeral ceremonies for military members who passed away. And we were going into a Red Lobster, and it was me and this other girl, and with the rest of our group. And these people were walking out, and we were about to walk in, and they're like, "Oh, you're cute for a colored girl." And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, what year is this? Like, I think we should just leave if that's how people talk to people." uh, so it would be nice that everybody would treat people, like regular people, but unfortunately that's not the case. So my spidey senses are always heightened. When we go to different places, I make sure I read reviews from different apps and stuff like that. And yeah, that's unfortunately how life is. That's nice. Cause yeah, we only did a pit stop. Replying to Lady Love, we did a pit stop in Columbus, Ohio, just to hit up the Target. But yeah, we really kind of had to just go through. We wasn't really trying to explore Ohio, really. We were trying to make it to um, Tony, which is Andrew's twin brother, his wedding. So yeah, but Ohio still was just really, it was really pretty in my opinion. Andrew is not ex-military, he's civilian. I met him while I was stationed in Vegas. He was, living in Vegas as well, and we met on the Plenty of Fish app. um, yeah, so that's how that happened. I don't know. I think the worst heat. So Reno and Vegas is that crazy dry heat. Like your eyes, you walk outside and your eyes are just like instantly dry. The air is kind of sucked out of your lungs because it's so hot. But when we was in Kentucky, and honestly, the East Coast, it was South Carolina, Kentucky, like it was disgusting. In the summertime, that humidity, it just didn't matter, and it would still stay hot in the evening. Like the desert heat is different. At nighttime you can kind of find it gets cooler at night, but in Kentucky and in South Carolina and stuff, it would still be like high 70s at nighttime and moist. So it was just awful. Like I honestly never want to spend, while doing, bus life, I never want to spend another summer in a place that has like crazy humidity. I would rather, go north somewhere versus, going south. I would rather stay up north and explore, different areas up there. But ooh, this was a learning curve and a learning experience for sure this past summer. I'm enjoying this too. Like I was really nervous. This is I'm sorry, I'm responding to Latasha. Um right? Yes, I'm responding to Latasha, sorry. I was nervous before doing this live. um, because I'd like to, just film and then, piece things together versus, I don't know, doing this kind of thing. Because I'm happy that I have the little chat up so I can see and kind of speak to you guys that way. But yeah, I was like really nervous, but I'm comfortable now. Because we friends. I don't know why I was nervous anyway. That is so true. Like, I didn't know how crazy Florida was until, I don't know, like my experience with, I don't know, I think, okay, let me get my thoughts together. I'm going to respond to um, Chitara. I believe that's how you pronounce it. If it's not, I'm so sorry. Um, she said all of America is racist. Some states hide it better, in her opinion. And I mean, there's racist people everywhere, but for me and my experience, it's just weird. While I was in the military, I think my uniform kind of shielded me from a lot of racism, because people saw my uniform and they really didn't see me. I mean, even cops, I've had my run-in with cops, but if they saw that I was in uniform, it was more or less, oh, okay, you're fine, and they would just kind of like let me go by. But being a civilian, a regular civilian with no uniform to kind of like shield you from the shenanigans, I have a totally different experience now that I'm outside of the military. And, you know, um, I thought my experience in Wyoming would be crazy because I've heard horror stories about Wyoming and, racism there. But like I did not go into one of the restaurants, one of the like little, I wouldn't go certain places by myself, but while we were out on the free public land, I felt completely safe, and it's just weird. I'm more comfortable being out in nature with animals, versus being, in the cities and all that stuff with people. It's more danger being around people versus, being out in nature with the regular animals. No, Latasha, no, the Green Book Project app, I have not. I'm gonna thank you for sharing. I'll pull that up once we get off the live feed. I'll look into that. Like, I've heard of the Green Book Project, um, but yeah, I most definitely will pull up the app because that'll also be great. That could be literally my first source versus going to some of the other apps. Hey, Brian. Thank you, Robin. No, we friends, so it's okay. I don't think you're being nosy. So, Lady Love, I know a lot of people do travel to Baja and they go further south and stuff. I watch people travel all the way down to Patagonia, from Alaska. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, that would be awesome. But would I go that far in Domino? No, just because I would prefer, honestly, to get a newer vehicle before traveling outside of the US. And, I would feel more comfortable leaving Dom within the United States. And if we wanted to possibly travel outside of the US, it would have to be a completely different build with a more reliable vehicle, because I've seen, people's engines go crazy. They've went to gas stations and the gas pumps have been mislabeled, and they put gas in their car versus diesel, or diesel in their car versus gas. Like, just crazy. Anything could happen. And, I wouldn't risk it in Domino. Domino, in my opinion, is not reliable enough to cross anybody's borders. But I would love that. Like, yeah, I would love to go. A lot of people are in Baja right now, and I am very much so, jealous of, what's going on in Baja. But, you know, it is what it is. I enjoy what we have here within the U.S. So bad. Yeah, like honestly, I don't feel like I'm afraid to go any places within the United States. It's more or less being aware of my surroundings and not purposefully putting myself in situations where things could go left. Like, it's more or less making smart choices. It's like, well, if you know that there's a 50% chance that you're going to run into some type of crappy situation, like, would you take that chance? No, I'd rather go somewhere where there's a 90% chance that I'm going to have a great time and not actually come in contact with anybody. Um, so it's not necessarily being afraid, it's more or less making the best decision for the better outcome. Is it so you're in Sedona right now, Robin? You said it's a different type of cold for sure. Like Reno and Las Vegas cold was so shocking to me. It is bone chilling cold, and that's even without the snow. Because of the wind, it is just insane. You'll have on layers, but that wind, it'll cut through your clothes and get you down to the bone. Like, that was some of the worst cold I've experienced. Wind, cold desert nights, so cold. Hey, Jacqueline from Wisconsin. Anytime I hear Wisconsin, I think of that 70s show. I used to watch that faithfully, and it was "Hello, Wisconsin." Will I be able to watch the Super Bowl tomorrow? Yes, I will be able to watch the Super Bowl tomorrow. But the real question is, will I be tuning in to watch the Super Bowl tomorrow? And the answer is no. I don't do sports. Like, in high school, I played track, I ran track and played basketball. Uh, but for me, I personally prefer to play a sport versus watching someone else, do a sport. In high school, I used to go to the football games just to socialize with people. I did not watch, the people actually do stuff. And when I was in the military, I joined the softball team. And at first, I hated baseball. Like, baseball, softball, I thought it was completely boring. Like, it is a boring sport to watch, but when you're playing it, it's actually fun. um, but yeah, I prefer to play the sport versus watch other people do it. Like, I just, yeah. It's also a different experience if you're there at the game versus watching something from like the television. I think, the experience is very diluted watching something from the television versus experiencing it for yourself. Um, so, yeah, to answer your question, yes, I have access to watch the Super Bowl, but I will not be tuning in. Hey, Sparkling Too Sweet, thank you for checking in. And yeah, like, let's see, responding to Lady Love, she said you actually have to be careful, you know, a little bit more careful because you're black, and that's true. I mean, I have different layers to my experience being out traveling full time. Like, I have to be extra careful because I'm a woman on the road. When I travel solo, you know, being the only person there for my protection, and also being black, there's layers to this lifestyle. And of course, my experience is going to be completely different from the next person's experience. So, um, you know, I can't talk about how everyone will experience this lifestyle being on the road. I only can speak from my experience. And, you know, I prefer being surrounded by animals versus people. Animals, in my opinion, are more predictable. Um, Humans are not as predictable, and that's what makes them really scary. I'm just moving some things around on the fire, trying to keep it warm out here. Yes, West Coast is in the house. Hey, Expedition Astro Van. Thank you for checking in. But I do miss the West Coast. Like, honestly, California, and I think the West Coast, like, is completely different vibe from the East Coast. California in general is like a completely different vibe from the rest of the United States. Um, it's like your time is different. The weather is, you know, different. The people are completely different. And I mean, most likely, you know, it's a lot of weed also there. So that could, you know, change how people interact with each other on a daily. But uh, California was so good to me. I was able, you know, I left the military and started going to school full time in San Francisco. And even though I was like the oldest student in all of my classes, I still had this just really good feeling. And I learned so much. Like, it's crazy. I learned so much history and the stuff that they normally tend to hide that I didn't learn in high school. I learned so much in my liberal studies classes about, you know, African American history, like Black history. And I really enjoyed my experience in California. It was expensive. It was way more expensive, San Francisco, than anywhere else, but I wouldn't trade that experience for nothing, because it really helped me discover who I am as a person and led me into, you know, this direction and this path in life. And I'm just excited for what the future holds. So I was actually born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm responding to Bat. I was born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida, and my first time leaving home was when I was 18 and joined the military. My first time getting on an airplane was to go to San Antonio, Texas, to go into the Air Force. Um, So Florida is literally my home of record. It will always be my home at heart, but I do not think I would ever move back to Florida. The U.S. is so big, and it is so many places to explore. And it's crazy. I never saw a mountain before I left, Florida. I've never seen snow until I moved to Washington State. That was my first base, was in Tacoma, Washington at McCord Air Force Base. Um, it's just so much out there, and if I wouldn't have joined the Air Force, I probably would have never left my home in Jacksonville, Florida. Um, but yeah, the US is just so big and beautiful, has so much to offer, and I honestly do not know where I would want to, find land and kind of like make some, I guess, roots and stuff. So this fire is like so pretty on the screen right now. I'm watching it from my sister's husband's laptop. And that's how I'm reading the comments. So like, I like to do fires, and we've had so many fires while being on the road. I could actually just record, like for future videos, maybe some ASMR type situation, like just record a fire and have the natural sounds of nature, no music and no talking, just setting up the fire and just having the fire go, for an hour or two. And you guys could just have it in the background, to fall asleep to, or to make breakfast to in the morning or something like that. You just let me know. And also rain sounds. It sounds so different. Like the rain when it hits the bus, like sometimes it's nice when it's a nice like drizzle or a soft rain. It is really nice and relaxing, like, okay, I want to go to sleep. But on the other hand, when it rains really hard, it sounds so scary because like you're surrounded, by metal. So it's like, I don't know, it sounds like you're inside of a warehouse, and you feel all of the wind. The bus moves from side to side, and the rain is just hitting, from different angles, and you're like, oh my gosh, is the wind about to pick us up and blow us away? But there's a lot of nature sounds that I love, and if you guys love that too, you can just let me know, and then I could just make like a different little playlist of nature sounds, and you guys can just pull that up whenever you want. So Robin asked, do I feel like being in the military helped me like live in transition into living in Dom better? I really do think so. The way my brain is programmed now, after being in the military for 11 years, 2 months, and 23 days, I look at situations a lot differently. And with all the training and the resiliency training that we had to go through and living different situations, I think it allows me to take a step back and put my emotions to the side, and like try and figure out what the root of the problem is and see how I can just go ahead and fix it. Like, some people, they get hardcore emotional and can't really see past the problem to see how to fix the situation. I think roughing it and, different experiences that I've went through in the military has allowed me to transition a lot smoother into this lifestyle, because you are hit, honestly, with so many different situations being on the road. And while in the military, you always had to adjust to situations. Anything could change at a, drop of a dime. So you always had to be able to adjust and make it work. And so that's how I see things. Like, if something goes wrong, okay, let me adjust and make it work. Let's see how, I can fix the issue and just make it work. And that's, I really do think I had a little head start and had a little bit more tools in my toolbox compared to anybody else who would just, get into this lifestyle. But yeah, I do think that being in the Air Force kind of helped me out a lot when it came down to doing this. So yes, this fire is actually a pretty decent size. We've had fires this big out in nature, when there's actually like a designated like camp ring. We would use the ones that are outside, but like in previous videos, you've seen that we have one that kind of stands up above ground, and that one is so much easier to kind of deal with because you don't like overfill it with wood, and so much air is coming in from the top and from the bottom. It's easier to just put out the fire, versus worrying about what's going on underneath, like making sure you like really let out the fire. It's just really easier to put out the fire when we use our above ground like fire pit. Well, Latasha, then I'll make sure the next time it rains to go ahead and do a nice little recording for you guys. I do have some, videos and stuff of just Dom on the outside, and I think those sounds would be super nice to add to those videos, so I will make sure to do that. Let's see, that said that they have owls and frogs in their backyard, and that's nice. Let's see, when I was in Georgia, there were owls out, and that was really nice. And then Illinois, it was frogs, frogs, and then these weird bugs that made a lot of noise. And I really thought that I would be annoyed by them, but they basically sung us to sleep. It was really nice. So have I cooked a full holiday meal in Dom? I have not, but I've cooked real full out meals, like, a regular home inside of Dom. Honestly, like, again, if I could do this all over again, or just speaking for the future, if I was to do another build, it would be like a 5-window handicap short bus, and I would just make it so it's even more counter space. Currently, the counter is 3.5 feet long. Yes, it's 3.5 feet long, and you use about a foot of that for the sink, and you really don't have that much space to like prep things. I tend to use the top of the fridge as like, an extra working space, but I just wish I had a little bit more space for the counter to be able to prep more things. But living here, being here at my sister's for a while, like, she uses so many fresh vegetables when she cooks, and I just have so many things saved now from being on TikTok and saving things from Instagram with different meals. I'm just so excited to get back into Dom and like cook, and try out some of these meals and share them with you all. But no, not a full-on holiday meal, but I do, cook like normal inside of Dom. But yep, like Bat said, identify, adapt, and overcome. That's literally how it is, and just keep it moving, because who knows, something else might come up, and so you just have to do that all over again. So I'm responding to the Kim. As far as like keeping animals out, so I do not use mothballs. My grandma, she has mothballs. She's in Florida, and mothballs are literally everywhere because of the snakes. I know they keep out snakes, and I think spiders as well. And the thing about mothballs is that smell sticks. Like, if you have mothballs in a tiny space like Dom, that's literally what Dom would smell like, mothballs. But as far as like keeping little bugs and stuff out of Dom, we have this spray that we used. Got it from Home Depot, and you can use it. It's for indoor use. It's indoor safe, and you spray the perimeter. So I've sprayed all, the steps and some of the cracks, and going into the back doors, sprayed around the tires. Use that, and also just a lot of lavender to keep animals out. A lot of animals do not like the smell of lavender, and so that's worked. We haven't had, knock on wood, any issues with like bugs infestation, like ants and stuff like that. I had a mouse come into Dom once, and this was on my first solo trip during, right after Jaden passed away. I was by myself, and when the little outdoor mouse came, all I could do was laugh, because Jaden was a Yorkie, and technically Yorkies were initially, bred to keep out rodents and everything, and I never had that, never had any mouse or anything try to come into Dom, and then Jaden passes away, and then all of a sudden there's a mouse. So I had to deal with that. Luckily, the mouse left that next morning. As I was driving out, the mouse left, just ran out of Dom while I was like packing up and everything. So that was nice, and I haven't had to deal with anything like that since. And that was like almost 2 years ago, but yeah, lavender and just indoor perimeter spray that you can just get from like Home Depot. So yes, I am a veteran, Air Force veteran. I joined March 2006 and separated in June 2017. Was it 17? I think it was 2017. Let me tell you, ever since I've lived in Dom, time means nothing to me. My dates are just all over the place. I do not look at time the same way other people look at time, because I'm never really on a time crunch, time restraint. I don't have places that I have to be. So all I know is I've been in the military for 11 years, 2 months, and 23 days. I know it was 14 June, and I really do believe it was 2017. But yes, Air Force veteran. Oh my goodness, yes, Andrew did say we do have the electric fly swatter, and that's really for flies. Like, you being outside, like, of course, you have to deal with flies every now and again. Mosquitoes, but we have mosquito nets. on the windows, and I recently installed a mosquito net for the back door, and that came clutch. So just mosquito netting and Velcro, and that works. Oh, I would never have like one of those long full size buses. Oh no, the longest honestly would be a 5 window handicap short bus, because that'll add maybe, Domino is like 19 feet long, so, and she's a 4 window short bus. So if we were to add another window and the handicap type ramp, it would make the bus roughly like 25, maybe 26. I don't even think maybe 26 feet. I'm thinking maybe like 20, 24, 25 feet long. And that is pretty much my max, because people in general don't know how to drive. And like, I prefer to stay in the right lane when I'm driving so I can have more of that space on the right hand side. But I cannot drive a long and wide vehicle. Like, I people who convert those long 30-foot plus buses, I'm just like, oh my gosh, you are a G, and you have nerves of steel. Like, my blood pressure would be sky high every time I had to get on the road. Lady Love, I did hear Irish Spring soap bars. Some people, I've seen like people use natural. They would put like dish soap, Dawn, what is it? Dawn dish soap and sugar, in a cup, and that would basically attract like the mosquitoes or the flies, and they would literally get stuck in there. And that's, just kind of what people would use to get rid of like gnats and stuff like that in those spaces. But I also heard about the Irish Spring soap. Yes, Domino in her lavender. I used to use a lot of lemongrass, and I still love the smell of lemongrass, the essential oils. But I have not gotten any new lemongrass, because the initial lemongrass that I purchased, the lemongrass essential oil, that I purchased, was from Walmart. And Walmart is not getting any of my business. So until I find a new lemongrass scent that I love, I'm sticking to my lavenders and incense. I love incense and citronelle. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Citronelle candles. If that's not how you pronounce it, please don't judge me. But those candles work so great with keeping out mosquitoes. Yes, go Air Force. So I'm not, obviously not retired, because I only served 11 years. But like, I am so thankful for my time served, because now, I have medical insurance with dental and vision, and also Andrew now has medical insurance up underneath me, and he can go to school, and that'll be paid for. I still have the option to go to school. I have about 12 months left of my post 9/11 GI Bill, and I also receive, monthly um, compensation payments because of my disabilities. So yeah, I am extremely thankful for my time served in the military. All of it was not great. If you watch my story on here, I have those like 2 videos on there. I do talk about, my last few years in the military with my gambling addiction in Las Vegas, and I was at my lowest lowest point, my last few years in the military. But again, everything happens for a reason, and without my lowest of lows, I would not be able to fully appreciate these highs that I've, had ever since then. So I am extremely grateful for my time. Well, that currently I'm not actually like in the market for a new bus or anything like that. That would be more or less like long term, goals. We have this new engine in Dom, and it is good for 3 years. It's a 3 year nationwide warranty. And so honestly, I plan on using Dom until until the wheels fall off. And then from there, possibly, who knows what life has in store um, for us. So right now, I'm not looking for anything new. Latasha, no, I have not had any run-ins with any bears ever since that one experience. Like you said, that lives rent-free in my head as well. I never thought I would have experienced anything like that, in my life. And it's so crazy because um, everybody in the comments, give their advice and stuff like that. And of course, I feel like I knew deep down what to do in the situation, but when you're actually in those situations, it's like, fight or flight, and then information gets dumped, and you just kind of like left like a deer in the headlights. Um, I pray that I never have to experience that again with the bear, and I'm so happy that Jada was actually asleep. She was asleep through the entire thing until the bear started to leave, is when she woke up. Um, because, yeah, she could have easily ran out the front door after it or tried to run out the back door when the bear freaking opened the back door. Like, it was just that. That experience was like, what the heck? It, yeah, I don't know. That was literally out of a TV show that I did not know I was going to be participating in. It's her XOXO. I have had one desert mouse inside of Dom. I was in, let's see what, Elko, Nevada. There's public land out in Elko, and I was staying there, and it was there for one night, and it left out the following morning while I was packing up. Um, and I hated it. I did not sleep that night when it happened. And unfortunately, Jaden, on that particular trip, that's when Jaden passed away. And I think the mouse probably would not have come in if Jaden was in there. But, it was nighttime. He came in the middle of the night. I could hear it. And I was not able to sleep. But luckily, it left by itself that following morning when I was packing up everything. Cintronella. That's what you say. You rather have a bear than a mouse. Let me tell you, those bear claws were like 3 inches long, and this was a bear that was maybe 2 to 3 years old. Um, he was sweet. Like, he didn't growl or anything at me. He was very curious and wanted those pancakes. But like, that mouse pretty much stayed down at the bottom level. I went through everything that I had as far as like under, the counter, and my dry goods and stuff like that. And he was more or less just roaming up in the front of the bus and didn't really come to the back. So that was nice. But again, I could not sleep that entire night. And I was like too afraid, to just open the doors and be like, get on out, get on out. Because, like, I'm not about to take on a mouse, because I'm pretty sure they bite and stuff. So, but honestly, I think I'll take a mouse over a bear. Well, maybe not, because the mouse could, like, I don't know. The bear, yeah, you'll know if the bear is gone. But the mouse could, like, have friends and babies and stuff like that. So maybe you're right. So I've never seen like a rat or anything in real life. So this little mouse was like, um, was a small. It was like, I don't know. I don't think I have big hands, but he would fit in the palm of your hand, and it was just a out like a little mouse, like a desert mouse. I don't know like the official name for it, but I was in the desert, so I'm just gonna call it a desert mouse. Thank you, Kim, for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy your Super Bowl party. Oh my gosh, Bet, you said bears taste good. Oh my lord. That's true. Bears can literally eat you. Um, but for the most part, you can possibly close up your space and, bunker down. But I have seen videos where bears, climb, they can like open doors and, all this other stuff. I mean, that bear literally opened up my back door and tried to climb up my window. So, like, yeah. You enjoy your evening too. I'm pretty sure bear fur is warm, but I am not, like, I'm not vegan or anything, and I eat meat and stuff. I have not eaten deer or anything. I kind of eat like the normal stuff, the chicken. I've eaten duck before. That was, okay. Um, I don't do veal, but I could not eat a bear. I mean, I guess if it was one of those survival, situations, then like, yes, you would eat to survive, but to just go to a restaurant and be like, oh my gosh, I'll take Yogi Bear. I I don't think I could do that. I'm not sure who Steve is. Ah, see, survivalists. Like, yeah, survivalists learn to eat, everything. Like, yes, I am prior military, but I'm Air Force. I've never deployed. I've had to sleep out in the elements, but that was, really temporary. I haven't had to like eat grasshoppers and worms and, all that other stuff. Yeah, survivalists, they are a completely different type of breed, and hats off to survivalists. But I guess I would be like a bougie survivalist if needed. Like, I want to be able to identify plants, plants that I can eat out in the wild, and, fruits and berries and stuff like that. But as far as like hunting and actually doing the deed of like killing an animal, I personally uh, can't do that. But we do have fishing poles, and like I do want to learn how to fish. I would love to, fish, catch my own fish and learn how to clean it and all that stuff, because we've been to so many different parks and, regular public land, and you literally can see these big, 2, 3 8-foot fish like just jumping out the water, like just like, hey, come get me, I'm pretty sure I taste good, you know. And it would be so good to catch some fish and make some grits, some cheese grits, and just eat, you know, what you catch. um, so I would love, you know, to learn how to fish, but I'm most definitely not a naked and afraid type person at all, because I need clothes and I would be very, very afraid. So we were in South Carolina a, like a few months back, and it's hunting season. I don't know if it's still hunting season now for deer, but we were on public land, and it was so many people out there hunting deer and stuff. And like it was, for me it was more kind of like nerve-wracking, because the people didn't really care that you were kind of like there. um, so they were walking around with their rifles and everything, while we're just walking around with the dogs, kind of enjoying the area. They were parked up, taking up like the road versus pulling off to the side. They would literally park in the middle of the road with their trucks that, you know, are meant to be in the dirt. Like they felt like their trucks were too pretty to get dirty. Like, I don't know, you're out there hunting, like you should be used to getting dirty. Um, but they would be out there with their rifles and everything, and you know, just shooting them up. And I'm just like, these poor deer. So one time, like, we just turned our music up all the way, so like, you know, like letting the deer know, like, hey, we're out here. Be careful, because they out here hunting. So stay away. Ooh, that is good to know. Lady Love said fish love corn or guts of other fish. And I have watched, you know, these, you know, survival shows. And yeah, like literally right after they would catch, depending on how long they've been out in the elements, like some people will actually eat like the fish heart and, you know, all that stuff, because it has all this protein and nutrients and stuff in it. But if they haven't been out there long enough and they're not like struggling, you know, to catch fish, they would use the insides to like catch other fish. And I'm just like, that's crazy, but you know, it works. And I love catfish. Catfish, you know, some people, that's like the bottom of the barrel or whatever. But catfish is delicious. It literally is almost already seasoned. The meat is very flaky, and you just make some cheese grits, and boom, you have you breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I just looked down and it is 9:38. I did not know this. I wonder if my voice is going to be like hoarse tomorrow, because this is the most I've ever talked in a very long time. Like when I had COVID, so I'm only, let's see, I got diagnosed with COVID like on the 29th of January, and I've only been out of my room, the room at my sister's. This is like day 2. So, you know, it's been weird actually talking and being able to talk and carry on the conversation, because I used to be so winded. Couldn't even, you know, form a full sentence, because like I was winded, or my throat was super sore, or I just, you know, was afraid to talk to people. Because you just don't want to talk to people because of the virus. So I wonder how, if I will have a voice tomorrow. So how nice and calm the fire is right now. Like, this is the best time to roast marshmallows. With the embers, you'll get it nice and toasty brown. but I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Let's see what's coming on next. So right now I'm currently editing a video for next Saturday. It'll be our experience at Alexander Springs Recreational Area, and that's out of Florida. And it was this beautiful natural freshwater spring out there. And let's see, really, I think I only have maybe 2 videos until we are almost caught up, because I recorded, some of the accident. Andrew was in an accident. If you didn't hear that first part, in the beginning, he got in an accident in the Volvo, and we had to get repairs done on that. And the Indomino went crazy, and we actually had to stay in a hotel for a few days in, I think it was Georgia. So yeah, we we have some eventful moments that doesn't deal with being out in the elements. Is more or less a lot of life happened moments that you guys are about to see within a few weeks. But we're about to be caught up pretty soon, and I'm excited. I'm just ready for Dom to get back ready so we can hit the road. I have all of these recipes I want to try and show you guys, because I do love to cook. I am a foodie at heart, and I want to share some of these things with y'all, because I don't know, I like to share, obviously. So I'm going to turn on, I think maybe, I don't even know if I want to use the water hose. We have a lot of dirt out here, and I think it will be best if I just use dirt to kind of spread out the wood a bit, and use some dirt to put out the fire. So I'll have the stream still going for a bit while I try and put out the fire. I love you all so much, and I really do appreciate you guys being here and the support that you've shown me over the past, I think I've been doing YouTube almost for like 2 years, I believe, or a little bit past that. And it's crazy. It's crazy, it's crazy, it's crazy. And I really do appreciate you all. So I hope you guys have a great night. It is starting to get really chilly out here. And enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday, whatever that means to you. I think the Beagles, I think the Beagles are playing. And I've seen, let's see, I think the Beagles uniform was in like Beetlejuice. They were in the movie Beetlejuice, maybe. But yeah, that's all I know about sports. So go football. I'm going to put this fire out. Oh, and my email, I believe, is actually, if you go to my main page, but I'll go ahead, is WhereisBrittany87@gmail.com, and that's very public. Or you can go to my website, and that's actually on my regular profile page here on YouTube. You'll be able to go to my website, and it's a button that says contact me, and then my contact information is on there as well. Thank you, XOXO, for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. There's a pecan tree in the backyard, and my nephew put pecans in here, so it smells so good. We have a few poppers around here. Oh my gosh, it's so warm. Oh, it feels so nice. Only you can prevent forest fires. A little bit more of the water. This should be golden. Covering it with the rest of the sand that's around it, and she is good. So most, like literally is maybe a tad bit of steam left, but I can hear a little bit of crackling, so I'm just gonna get a little bit more water. Better be safe than sorry. Alrighty, good night, my friends. You guys be safe and stay well and nice and healthy. Love you all.